This is KHQA Overtime with Chris Duerr, working for you.
And this is Saturday, August the 31st, and you have indeed entered overtime, where it is time for the show to get down to the express purpose for which it was designed. Tackling impossibly busy local sports weekends from here all the way through June. Now, I've been afforded 30 minutes tonight to do so, and I'm going to need every last one of them, starting tonight with the business of wrapping up week 1 of the high school football season. 2 games away from closure entering today, one of them a litmus test for just how legitimate Routt Catholic may be as a potential playoff threat after missing the postseason last year. You can't ask for much harder of a season opener in Class 1A football than Hardin Calhoun, a team that showed every bit of its moxie last year against Camp Point Central today at Friesen Field. 3 plays in, bad news for Barry Creviston's crew. Kellen Creviston back to pass. He's going to be picked off by Drew Wallendorf, and Wallendorf has some speed. He's going to take this to the house, and just like that, that pick 6 made it 7-0 in favor of the Warriors. The third Rocket possession, things get better. Kellen Creviston, the honorable mention All-Stater, finds Eli Olson on the slant pattern, and are you kidding me? 75 yards later, he is off to the house, and we are all tied up at 7 apiece. The Rockets now down 14-7. Next possession, it's Creviston and Olson working yet again. This is a nifty hookup, and that means after they complete this pass, the first play of the second quarter, Routt Catholic is going to set up at the 12-yard line with a chance to try to tie this thing. Another pickoff right here. This is Bo Lorsbach with the takeaway, and that proved huge. We did have some great Routt defensive plays at times in this stand, including Aiden Meyer with a tackle for loss, but this drive lasted 26 plays and 11 minutes and 30 seconds of the 12-minute quarter, wrapped up here by a Jake Webster 3-yard touchdown, and then more bad things for Routt on the ensuing kickoff. It gets muffed. It ends up being a safety. It's 24-7. Calhoun gets the ball in the second half. They run away with this thing as Calhoun pulls off the victory and hands Routt Catholic a loss today. Final count in this one, 37-19. By the way, Calhoun will host defending state champion Camp Point Central next Friday night. You talk about a big game. Gets no bigger than that. Both those 2 teams after week 1 look incredibly legitimate. Meanwhile, one other game in the WIVC, not the opening week Beardstown was hoping for, a road trip to Carrollton, and man, it was ugly for the Tigers tonight as they lose that one 46-4, or excuse me, 46-6 was your final. Beardstown falls to 0-1 on the season. Carrollton looks to be much improved. Some late arriving football highlights from last night. West Hancock at Deer Creek Mackinac. Some good moments at DMAC for the Titan offense in this one. And the defense, it starts with Jess Scott right here with a strip. That ball is going to come free. West Hancock's going to get a short field to work with. They're going to take advantage, at least at this point. The new quarterback is Bryce Varner. He's going to find the sophomore basketball, football star on the emergence. That is this guy, Hunter Froman. Great grab for him. Sets up Bryce Varner to do his thing on the quarterback keeper last night. He'd score for the touchdown. Unfortunately for the Titans, the defense did not show up enough. They lose 58-28 last night. And because last night was so crazy and we had weather issues, we had a light outage at Pleasant Hill. Here's a wrap-up of some of the scores you might have missed on the late side last night as we take you to the scoreboard. It was Triopia pulling off the upset at Pleasant Hill. That was the game where the lights went out for about 20 minutes. Triopia wins that one at 8-6. Brown County in a game that started late due to thunderstorm problems. Greenfield Northwestern wins that in a slugfest, 6-0 your final there. Also, Unity Payson felled by West Central. Good showing by Coach Coltis's Cougars in this one, 50-22, your final in that one. Ottumwa and Keokuk finished late last night because of all the offense. Ottumwa wins over the Chiefs, 47-26 was your final in that one. Also on the docket, scores that arrive late from 8-man football in Illinois. Bushnell Prairie City opens its season with a win on the road at Peoria Heights. The same could not be said of West Prairie Southeastern, which falls to a good Flanagan squad at home. 36-22 was your final in that contest. Also from Northeast Missouri last night, Van Far jumps all over Westran. Man, I tell you what, nice stuff in that one. The Douglas twins combining for 5 rushing touchdowns as Van Far gets the job done. And the score of the night last night, Palmyra in double overtime, pulling off the upset win at Hallsville. By the way, let's take you to the highlights we have from that game, because because this man, Pierce White, was the deal in it. 3 touchdowns in the night, including 1 here off the jet sweep, 2 extra points, including a critical one in double overtime to help Palmyra pull off the victory. Hey, Dalton Hill's team is 1-0, perhaps the best and most surprising upset of week number 1. Good stuff. We'll talk all about it in Duerrisms coming up later this week. That should drop for you on Thursday. Soccer now. Quincy Notre Dame. Rough struggle to the season, losing their first 2. Greg Reese's team tried to get back against Jacksonville today. And, man, check this out. Great passing right there as the ball is set up for TJ Tuggareppe, and he is going to let fly, and it's 1-0 Raiders just like that. Then it's Rylan Fisher time, although he's going to get a weird caromed assist on this, not a goal, as Sully Walker's going to knock that home. He gets credited for the goal, beats Briar Miller, the outstanding Jacksonville keeper, and yeah, it's 2-0 in the first half. We're not done. Check out Briar Miller. We saw him against Quincy High, spectacular. Another great save here at the end of the first half, but that left 45 seconds on the clock for a corner restart, and man, Nolan Heck is going to find Rylan Fisher's medulla oblongata, and that makes it 3-0. So Quincy Notre Dame gets off the schneid. They win the early game today, 4-0 over Jacksonville. They do lose the later game today by the final count of 3-0 to Orchard Farm. Excuse me, 1-0 to Orchard Farm. By the way, Q&D gets a big showdown with Hannibal at home coming up on Tuesday. Quincy High School struggling today. Quincy High School still winless. They lose to 2 really good St. Louis programs in the Quincy Notre Dame tournament today after losing yesterday to Orchard Farm. It was Clayton beating the Blue Devils 5-0 and Lindbergh beating the Blue Devils 3-0. Were your finals there. More soccer to pass along. Congratulations to Justin Ellison at Macomb picking up his first victory as the Macomb skipper. They beat the Metamora Reserves today at the Peoria Christian Tournament in PKs and then fall to Metamora in the Consolation Championship. Actually, I believe, yes, the Consolation Championship. 3-2 was the final in that contest. A good news, bad news type of day for the Hannibal Pirates. Again, tuning up for that big showdown with Quincy Notre Dame playing in the Rolla tournament. The Pirates lose to the host school 1-0, but end up beating Neosho 1-0 thanks to Bodie Rollins, the All-Staters goal in that one as well. Some golf to pass along to you as well today. Illini West keeps it going and blows away the field today at the Mercer County Invitational in Aledo. Check that out. 39 strokes better than second place Rockridge. And how's this for showing out as a golf squad? First place, second place, and third place all to the Chargers, led by Nolan Murphy, who was 3 strokes under par. He's a freshman, by the way, with a 69 today. Bryson Grotz ended up under par as well. Nick Bruns, venerable and playing well as well with a 74. Illini West gets the job done. And we are just getting warmed up here on the Big Overtime Show. When we continue, we've got high school volleyball nirvana coming your way next.
You're watching KHQA Overtime with Chris Duerr, working for you.
Tournament volleyball aplenty will start at Quincy High with the Early Bird Tournament and Kate Brown's team in pool play taking on Pekin's JV squad. Elise Damon serving up aces and Quincy High making easy work of this. A little bit later, it's Abby Bunch doing likewise. Do likewise, gents. Good stuff for her right there. She serves up the ace. A little bit later, it's Lydia Peters' time, and you know she can sky and fly and let fire. She does exactly that through the defense. How about some Kaylee Summers to wrap this up as the Blue Devils beat Pekin's JV squad in straight sets, and they would advance all the way to the championship of their own tournament where they would meet, well, we'll not spoil things, but it might be Quincy Notre Dame. Quincy Notre Dame, meanwhile, now taking on Galesburg as we get you to the next set of highlights in this one. And man, what a run Ashlyn Peters would serve up here. She starts things off with a little help here from Miss Nora Wiley, who's not only going to set herself up with a little pop set, she's going to clean things up at the back end of this with some finesse. We're not done, though. I told you Ashlyn Peters would hold service for a long, long time, serving up ace after ace. This will be the first of them, but it would get better from there. Then more from Miss Nora Wiley, who was an all-tournament team selection in this one, deservedly so. She is a talent. Uncorks her power game. You saw the finesse, the power game awfully good as well. Hey, how about some more in this one from Miss Peters, painting the back line for another ace? You know what? It was a lot of Peters and Wiley. We tried to spread out the highlights, but these two girls dominating, and man, Nora Wiley with the cross court just inside the line. somehow got that to go. Beautiful stuff from her. How about Madeline Boyer, the transfer out of Illini West? Man, she's fully a Lady Raider now and looking every bit of it with a kill. And then it's Peter's time. Not once, but twice. These aces were like Jedi mind tricks. Just kind of floated in and everybody was confused and apparently didn't know to return them. Then the aces come from Nora Wiley and a little bit later from Madeline Boyer as Quincy Notre Dame sweeps Galesburg. Both Quincy High School and QD swept their way through pool play. They met in the championship, and in the end, it is the Lady Raiders spoiling the party for the homestanding Blue Devils. Final count on that one was 25-18. 25-18 as QD remains undefeated in the early season. We had our Macomb Invitational today at Brophy Hall. Great job by Steve Horrell, the athletic director. He named all 4 brackets after the stars, yes, of the Sandlot. Good stuff. How about this? West Prairie playing in the Scotty Smalls division. You're killing me, Smalls. Good stuff early in this one from Nia Zimmerman. She comes up with the side out for the Cyclones. Then Paige Kitch serving up ace after ace here back to back. No one killing Miss Kitch's vibe in this one as she gets the ace to go. Unfortunately for West Prairie, though, they lost all 3 of their pool play games, would end up settling for 14th place overall. The news better for the homestanding Macomb Lady Bombers in this one. They open their day taking on Monmouth United as we go to your next set of highlights. And yes, apparently Kelly Ladd and Madeline McClure are morning people. Like to see that. Speaking of morning people, Quinn Rexroad, I should say, opens the game with a sleepy time ace as no one was paying attention. The Red Storm would get better from there. However, Macomb equal to it. Kat Lukarinen doing her thing right there, knocking in the kill. She was an all-tournament team. And with the highlight for the side out for the Bombers there. Jackie Adair, possessed of great verticality. You see it at play there. She rises up to throw down. Good stuff from her. More from Miss Cat right here as she's going to get the kill and put the kill back in style for Miss Lukarinen there. She gets the job done right there. More to come from Jackie Adair, this time service-wise. It's the ace to fall in as well. And Macomb was back and forth, at least in this first set, with United a bunch. More from Kat this time. She is going to get set up nicely and get the monster swing on this one. That is a kill for her. Then the master of the service, or excuse me, the master of the setter dump in this one. Quinn Rexroad again doing her thing, getting the beautiful just trick set in against at this point, United had no answers. Kylie Robinson, who also made the all-tournament, serves up an ace right here. Macomb rallies, kind of scratches its way to get a win in the first set, 26-24, wins 25-14 to close out Monmouth United. And when everything is all done today, Macomb is your team champion as they would end up beating Athens for that. 2 games done, your all-tournament team. As I mentioned earlier, Jackie Adair, Kylie Robinson, Quinn Rexroad, and Kat Lukarinen, who all played incredibly well for the homestanding Lady Bombers. We had more tournament action today. Southeast Iowa Central Lee hosting its own affair today, and they were taking on Burlington in the 9:30 game. In that, Amy Cook's squad had moments of brilliance and moments of not. And this one, we'll try to show you the brilliance because that plays better on television. First, huge block right here by Taylor Jones. She was really good throughout this entire match against Burlington. She will show you the defense. She'll show you the offense as well, because when she is set well, she certainly cleans things up. First of all, with some power right here, and then just a bit later, it's Taylor Jones showing off the finesse in her game as well. Holly Lampe also doing some nice work in this one for Central Lee, but unfortunately for the Lady Hawks, they would lose to Burlington in straight sets. They did beat Keokuk in straight sets later in the day, but I did not see any further scores out of Central Lee, so we'll leave you with that as the information that we do have on the night. Some other scores to pass along on the girls' side of things tonight. Let's do some golf at that same 10th annual Mercer County Invitational. It was Illini West finishing 4th, Macomb finishing 6th. The low local on this one, Brenley Tibbetts of Macomb. She fired an 8th place 102 in that very loaded field. We also have softball for you tonight. Scotland County playing in the sort of 3-team little derby they had today up in Brashear. Madison Buford doing some things early on with a double to right field, giving Scotland County, the Lady Tigers, a 6-2 lead in the 4th in this one. Brashear's going to come back in this one. Heidi Lay with a big RBI single right up Broadway to bring the game within 1 in the bottom of the 4th. Then the Scotland County backstop gave up 4 runs on pass balls in the 4th inning. Brashear now leading 7-6 at this point. Top of the final inning, Scotland County's Lillian Frederick is going to hit an RBI double right past the center fielder's glove to make it 9-7 Scotland County, and Scotland County is going to make that stand up, giving Abigail Hare her first career win as Scotland County softball coach. Congratulations to her. Big time showing there for the Lady Tigers. Other softball today. Remember, the Troy tournament got canceled or at least postponed. So at Troy, they did a 3-team affair. Highland was involved. Win one for the Lady Cougars, lose one for the Lady Cougars. By the way, in that first game, the All-Stater Haley Winter with 4 ribbies for Highland in that one. Monroe City in their semifinal matchup today at the Moberly tournament rallied back from a ridiculous 9-run deficit to win and punched a ticket to play Moberly in the title game, and the Lady Panthers are the champs of that tournament. 6-2 your final there. Third place game. Check out Mark Twain getting the bats rattling in this one. Tell you what, got some hitters to the Lady Tigers this year as Miss Paxton and Miss Means delivered 8 combined RBI between them. And in the consolation championship game, there were plenty of runs in this one as South Shelby hangs on to beat Palmyra in 9 innings in a thrilling affair that saw those two teams combine for 32 runs. South Shelby is your consolation champion with a 17-15 football score, and we'll check in on the college docket when overtime continues.
You're watching KHQA Overtime with Chris Duerr, working for you.
A brutal schedule to start off Joe Davis's career as the head coach of Western Illinois. It started on the road in DeKalb today. Northern Illinois really good defensively. Western Illinois falls 54-15, gets no easier from there as the Leathernecks will trek to Indiana for their first ever showdown with the Hoosiers coming up next week. Also of note, former Quincy Notre Dame All-Stater Jackson Stratton really good today for Butler University in a win over Upper Iowa with 5 tackles and a quarterback hurry. It was also opening day today on the Hill for Culver Stockton, and our Ben Schmidt was there.
Wildcats are going to start their season off with a win against Mount Marty at home. Culver Stockton down 13-0 after a quarter, but they got it going on their first drive of the second. Drake Day finds Kyle Dixon, and he takes it 33 yards to the house, makes it a 13-7 ball game. And that drive was all Dixon, 2 catches, 95 yards on the drive for the sophomore. Now on defense, Culver Stockton faced the third down stop. Mason Vissery and Maxwell Hayes combined for the tackle. No gain for Mount Marty, and they would have to punt. Then back on offense, next drive, it's Day going to Dixon. Once again, 16 more yards over the middle. Dixon would finish the game with 189 yards and 2 touchdowns. However, the Panthers' offense stalled out on that drive. Next possession, Mount Marty's Rugby Riken taking a shot downfield, but Tahim Mariel is there for the nice pass breakup. More coming back on him later. Then great job moments later. Tackled by the Wildcats defense here to force the tackle for loss on the run. A whole lot of men in all blue there to put that play to bed. And it would go on to force a field goal coming up, which Mount Marty from range would then go on to miss, and it stays a 13-7 ball game still in the second quarter. However, Culver Stockton couldn't capitalize, so the Lanthers coming back out on offense in what would be a 2-minute drill. Riken looking downfield, but this time it's Carlos Price there for the nice pass breakup by the DB. He was pumped up after that one. And I said we'd come back to Mariel later, and that's because in the final moments of the half, he's there for the interception to keep Mount Marty from playing add-on. That sends everyone into the locker room at 13-7. However, Mount Marty would pull away in the second half. They win it 42-14.
Women's soccer now on the scoreboard. Culver Stockton today, a winner on the road over Harris Stowe. Final count in that one was 3-1. Not so good for the John Wood women's squad taking on Metropolitan CC, losing 8-0 at home. Culver Stockton men draw with Harris Stowe 2 apiece. And the John Wood men opened their season at home today against Metropolitan. Good start in this one with the Blazers actually down early 1-0. In the 14th minute, though, things about to happen on the right foot. Let's go to the video if we can. The Blazers down in the 14th minute, and away we go in this one, as it would be Struan Nicholson putting one past the diving keeper and giving the Blazers their first goal of the season and a 1-0 lead. One of the weirdest goals you're ever going to see here, and we don't mean to embarrass our friend Brock Evans, but he's going to take a ball off the face, and it's going to deflect into the goal, and he's going to be credited with that. He was okay. John Wood took a 2-1 lead. They would eventually draw Metropolitan 2 apiece, and yes, Brock Evans was okay despite appearances there.
You're watching KHQA Overtime with Chris Duerr, working for you.
I know this is a holiday weekend, but the holiday, as soon as it ends on Monday, man, what a sports week we have ahead. Lots of big volleyball on Tuesday, including the start of the Suns Classic in Augusta. But we've got more than that. We talked about the soccer with Hannibal Q&D. Great showdown coming up on Tuesday as well. Some big softball coming your way from Northeast Missouri on Tuesday as well. And the week just kind of crescendos from there. So this overtime show by next Saturday, high school football next week, Suns Classic finale, I believe Monroe City softball tournament, all kinds of goodies coming your way right here. It's why we do the half-hour thing, because we got to get you all of it, and we're going to do our best to do so. So I hope you enjoy your holiday weekend, everybody. We'll be right back here all next week with all your local sports needs, and then right back here next Saturday for overtime.